The following is a Just Green production brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Might Be Brews, the podcast where we explore the people, places, and brews of the craft beer world. Please follow us on social media. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you like. Our handle is @MightBeBrews. And please check out the new website. There's direct links to all of the podcast platforms right there with the latest episode. So check out mbnnetwork.com and check out all the shows, but we actually have a direct link now, mbnnetwork.com/brews. So check out the website and just click on the link for your favorite podcast platform, iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Podcast, whatever it is, and listen up. So let's go around the table and introduce everybody. My name is John, and across from me is Steve. Say what's up.
What's going on, everybody?
And the producer man, as always, my brother Taylor. What's going on?
What's up, everybody?
And we have a couple special guests with us today. Scott, say what's up, Scott.
Hey guys, how's it going?
And Dave, how you doing, Dave?
How's everybody doing tonight?
Dave is probably the biggest guy that I know. You are like, how tall are you? You got to be like 6'6", 6'7".
I'm about 6'5".
That's it?
That's it.
You're just like the Andre Giant of beer fans, I think.
Okay, I'll take that.
Just to me, I don't know. That's like the first thing that I think of when I first met you. I was like, this is the biggest fucking guy. Just tall. You're not like, I'm not saying you're overweight or anything. You're just like,
you're a
giant.
towering person like I am. Yeah, you're very.
It's like intimidating to be around.
Very
you.
tall.
I think that's thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for.
Okay.
It's not coming out right, but that's exactly what I'm trying to do.
We could put these two together for like a WWE tag team event.
Yeah,
They'd be formidable.
yeah. My brother Taylor, you're,
And when you walked in, I was like, "Whoa, another one like me."
what are you? You're 6'5", right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
The
Nice.
belt would be ibuprofen.
Nice. All right, guys, listen, we have a very big show coming up next week, and I'm just going to tease it right now. We'll get into the details at the end of the show, but we're really excited. We're actually going to do a special edition show next week. So make sure you listen in toward the end of the show, and we'll let you know what's going on. Let's go ahead and crack our first beer. We're going to start with Drink It or Sink It.
Let's get it going.
So I brought Drink It or Sink It this time. Everybody that's been helping us out online with suggestions, I really appreciate it, and thank you. But we're going to do Nugget Nectar. And, this is a special release beer. I get excited for it every time it comes out, but we were kind of just talking about this. Like, what beers are out there that we always went to rush for? You'd grab it right away. It would sell out right away. If you didn't get there, right off the bat, as soon as it hit the shelves, you missed out. What other beers are there out there that now it seems like they're just kind of sitting there?
It's definitely a change that I've seen in the past couple years. Let's just take Bourbon County, for instance. The variants people still line up for. They're still going after. They're still hunting for them.
Yep.
But the regular, you're finding on shelves 2-3 months afterwards.
Yeah.
And that did not used to be the case.
Yep. I was thinking CBS. I mean, I remember that, when I first got into this and was chasing CBS, I'd go, try to grab those bottles, and they didn't even have them on the shelf yet. They would just have them on the cart or whatever at Wegmans, and you'd be like, hey, you got that? And they'd be like, okay, how many, we'll give you one. And the last time I went, full shelf, no problem. I saw it for at least a week or two afterwards, and they had no allotment. They're just like, or whatever the PA state allotment is, or something like for Wegmans. But
so what do you guys think it is, Scott, Dave? Do you think are they making more? Are we just not buying it as much? Or is it a combination of that?
I think for me, really, it's like craft beer is still growing, and when I'm thinking specifically of Shape of Hops to Come, because I know I waited in line at Malvern Beer Store for that. It was like all the rage because we have 6 4-packs or 12 4-packs or whatever, and you wanted to get the latest and greatest, but
Yeah.
now they have 20 cases and all these other beers that are equivalent, maybe the same price point, maybe lower, are out there too. And there are a lot of beers out there fighting for your attention.
Yeah.
I think. And it's hard to focus on the same ones over and over.
I hear you. Yeah, I just went to that, I don't know how you say it, Kunda Beverage.
Gunda.
I couldn't believe the selection, and now I think that's a lot of it. Is now there's so many options. You know, you don't have to. That's not the only really good maple imperial stout out there. You know, there's a lot of different things out there, a lot of choices.
And there's so many more good breweries out there.
Yeah, breweries are opening every day.
I think also a big thing to it is the whole rating it part of this. It's like you guys, everybody wants to have all of them. Everybody wants to try all of them. Like that's kind of the point. You have your your checklist. You want to check them all off, and that's why it's kind of hard to pick just one thing.
Yeah, I know. I used to get. I mean, it was early on, but when I was first getting into beer, I would get kegs. I would go get a keg of Sam Summer Ale or whatever it was. You know, my Blue Moons and Shock Tops or whatever. You know, and then once I really started getting into it and checking them in and trying them and all that stuff, I haven't bought a keg in years because it's just been, I want to try something new and you know, or a special release. I've had Nugget Nectar plenty of times, but I'm just looking forward to this year's release.
Yeah.
Do you remember the last beer you bought a whole case of? Not a variety case, one beer for a case.
Nope.
David, do you remember the last one?
This is crazy because the message I'd sent you guys with my question basically was that, or sort of a variant. But for me, it was Dirt Wolf. That's like the last case that I bought because I knew I would drink and enjoy all of it. And so my wife said to me once, I don't know what to buy for you anymore, or I don't know what to tell people to get for you anymore. And I said Dirt Wolf. So that was my question for you guys was, if you had to choose one case of beer, what would you go buy?
Oh,
I mean, that's like a Joe Burns or a Thorndale or an Exton, not like driving to Dewey to get a case of something.
So we're talking about a shelfie, if I could use the word shelfie, which I think people use a little differently from person to person.
Yeah, so a shelfie in southeastern Pennsylvania is going to be different than a shelfie in Chicago. So you may be able to get the latest half acre in a case in Illinois, but down here you're getting Victory or maybe some others, but Victory's the one that comes to mind.
The first one that came to my mind actually was the one I think it was last episode, Sam Smith's oatmeal stout. That would be one that I could easily have a case of, enjoy every single one of them, be able to put one or two on the shelf and have them sit for a little while, and I would enjoy that case.
I noticed that if I go to a place like Frank's or something, maybe the selection's not huge, but I'm going to bring something home. I've found myself grabbing Stable 12 Pony Kisses.
Okay.
So I think that it sometimes varies in taste. Like I've seen like a little bit of inconsistency with it, but I just think it's like a really good, awesome, like New England hazy IPA that's local. Like I just really like that beer. Or Shapes, like you were saying, Shapes from the Chamonix Creek. That's one that I'll get if I just can't decide, and I'm gonna get a go-to. So I guess for a case, I'd probably do that.
Prima Pills for me.
Yeah,
that's
a good one.
All season, every day.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
So as we keep digging into our discussion here, let's step back to our Nugget Nectar that we had here.
Absolutely.
Let's throw some glasses
Cheers,
around
everybody.
Here. Definitely we could get into the great debate of people calling this the IPA when it's actually a amber ale.
Yeah, I kind of forgot what it was classified as, so I checked the can when I grabbed it out of the fridge today. I was like, is this an IPA? And it just says ale on it, Nugget Nectar Ale.
It definitely has definite hop forward characteristics to it, which I think is what most people they get that hop right up front and they go straight to IPA. That's just the thought that they have.
Sure.
I think the amber ale style doesn't really do the beer any favors because amber ale isn't really one of those flashy styles that people are going to run to the stores and seek out. If they called it an IPA or a double IPA, I don't know how it sells, but it would probably get a bigger following. Just calling it an amber ale is kind of like, why not luckily it's not a brown ale, I guess.
So you guys have been in this a lot longer than me, but is this kind of like one of the OGs of like local hype beers?
Definitely, and it always comes out, the same time in January.
Mm-hmm.
My family, we go up to Christmas in Hershey Park all the time. Well, not all the time, at Christmas time.
Yeah, right.
And it's usually we'll stop at Trogs, have lunch there, and then head over to the park. And we always see them packaging Nugget Nectar. The cans
nice.
are going by, but we can't buy it because it's not released yet. So that would always drive it for me, would be seeing it being packaged. And then when it was finally released, I'd go grab a couple.
Yeah.
So this is actually our drink it or sink it.
Yeah, that's true.
So we need to get some opinions over here from Mr. Taylor.
It's a drink it for me.
Nice.
This is really good. Yeah, it's not like overpowering, and I feel like I could drink this anytime. Like you say it comes out every January. I could drink this in the summer. Like, it's not like super heavy.
Yeah.
It's nice.
I mean, I guess because they just released it. What's the date on here? It just says a Best Buy, a 510. But yeah, I don't know, man. A lot of fresh hop on the front of that,
Mm-hmm.
But it's just it's
It definitely has bite to it, but
Yeah.
it's not too crazy.
it's full bodied. It's got real good flavor all throughout. I really like it.
It's definitely I feel that the earthiness really sings through. And I guess that's the nugget hop.
That's a good description.
I'm not good at picking out hops individually in beers.
Yeah.
But the earthiness, to the hop bite, and it's got bitterness to it. As we drink more and more of the New England IPAs and the juice beers, we don't get as much of the bitter anymore, and it's refreshing to get a little bit of that bitter back in there.
It is. I had my first beer from Brothers Kirshner the other day at Frank's, and that was good. They labeled it as like a New England style IPA, but it was real bitter, and he was like, "That's exactly what we were going for." I texted him and said, "I feel embarrassed. You've been open for a while, but I'm having my first beer from you." And he was like, "Oh, thanks so much for getting it. What do you think?" And I was like, "It says it's a New England IPA, but it's kind of bitter up front." And he was like, "That's exactly what we were going for." So he's like, I was like, "If that's what you were doing, you nailed it. It's a really good beer." And I don't know, I kind of miss that bitterness.
It's definitely refreshing to bring it back. But I'm glad. How many drink-its is this in a row for Taylor?
It's been a few.
It's been a few.
His wife's not happy.
Say too many.
Let's just be honest. The wife is not happy. He's going to be on Untapped. It's happening. He's going to be a ticker. It's coming.
The conversation I always avoid with my wife.
I'll be that lager guy. I'll be the guy just doing all the lagers on
No
Untapped.
problem with that.
I don't want to have that conversation of how much are you spending on beer every week, every month. That's gonna be a new conversation you're gonna have soon, Jackie. So, Dave and Scott, I kind of want to. We've kind of given our background on beer. I don't know either one of you guys want to start, but what got you into craft beer? Can you kind of give us your what was that beer that you had or that moment that kind of like for me literally switch flipped and I was like, that's all I want now. But do you have a story like that of how you got into it?
I actually do. And it's the details I remember are really creepy. The fact that I remember them so long after it. But it was a sunny day in August of 2012.
Okay.
I had just finished playing softball and we went to Ron's Schoolhouse Grill for BOGO Ovals.
Great spot.
Yeah. And before we went in, my friend somehow came across a beer called Pumpkin. He's like, "Oh, this is really hard to find." Back when it was nowhere to be found. It's really a great beer. Let's try it. So we cracked it in the parking lot. I remember drinking out of the big red Solo cup.
Nice.
And
As you should.
Yeah. I took my first sip. It's going to sound so cheesy, but at that instant, I was transformed because at that point I was like, well, beers actually can taste different than Yingling, which is
right
what you drink when you're from Pennsylvania. And ever since that moment, I think that was my first Untapped check-in, unfortunately.
Wow.
Ever since that moment, I've just been mesmerized by the flavors that the same four ingredients can produce.
Right. Awesome.
That's an interesting thought. I never thought about what was my first untapped check-in.
Yeah, that is a good thought. I'm not sure what that is either. I might try to look that up. Dave, how about you?
Scott. No. Actually, and I'm going to really date myself here. I'm probably guaranteed I'm the oldest guy in the room, but
Were you there for the first beer
I
ever brewed?
was there for the first
I'm just
beer
kidding.
ever brewed.
Christmas Ale, 1982.
I went to something called Harpoon Fest in Boston.
Okay.
This is probably 96, 97, before I was married. But we went up there to visit a friend, and he said, "Hey, we're doing this all-day festival," and it was just insanity. And Harpoon, the first one was actually at the brewery. They had the truck set up, lobster rolls, the whole 9 yards, and
Ooh.
I just really liked it. And from there, I really just went to look for new things, and a lot of the Sam Adams varieties. 1 year, I mentioned this the other day, I bought 4 cases of Sam Adams Oktoberfest. I'm here and I'm admitting it, but
I'm strangely impressed by that.
I loved it, and now it's there's so much malt. There's just so much malt in that beer. But really, I got to know Scott and a few other friends. We play cards every month, and we all just sort of dove into it together and have found breweries and beers and people that I work with that are into it, and just a million different varieties and people and just experiences from it. And it's been just a ton of fun.
It's funny that you guys were playing in the card game, and then I got invited in, and how much of the card game has turned into beer.
Well, it's funny you say that. We had our first game last week for 2019, and it was really Scott and I were the beer guys. Steve couldn't make it, and our friend Matt couldn't make it. And it's amazing. I finished second, and I think it's because there wasn't a lot of beer being shared.
So you could focus better on the cards when the beer wasn't being shared.
I didn't have 10 cards in my hand to look at. It was just 5.
I just went and checked my Untapped, and my first check-in was Snake Dog IPA.
Snake Dog.
Yeah, from Flying Dog Brewery.
All right.
I think that's just a shelfie. I always see that. But
Sure.
I mean, I know I was definitely, at least a month or two into craft beer, I think, before I found out what Untapped was.
So what did you rate it?
A 3.6. It's a random number.
Might be worthy of a retest.
Yeah.
So my first check-in was Coney Island Albino Python,
What is that?
a spiced herb beer from Coney Island Brewery. And like you, I was into craft beer for a couple of years before I started Untapped. I
Yeah.
specifically remember going to Total Wine in Delaware and getting I think it was a mixed case of Coney Island, and there were like 4 or 5 of them, and I remember that one being in there.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever had another Coney Island beer since then.
Nice.
Prima Pills.
Was it?
That's-
Nice, Dave.
It was a St. Patrick's Day party.
Oh, awesome. So I'm the new guy to the group, I feel like. You guys were already established friends. And when I started doing that beer shares at Frank's, that's how we all met. But how did you guys all meet?
Scott and I actually knew each other from high school.
Okay.
We go way. Did we actually hang out in middle school? Was there any Gordon middle school
Probably drama club or something.
drama
Stage
club,
crew
or
somewhere
did you
around
play
there.
baseball? I couldn't remember that. I was thinking
I
about
tried,
that. So we actually went to the same middle school.
Mhm.
We definitely hung out a lot in high school. We were both in the drama club and did a couple plays. We shared a line of prose in one of the famous Shakespeare festivals.
Nice.
But we had we didn't really talk much after high school, and then we kind of reconnected, seeing each other on Beer Nerds and
Oh,
stuff
that's awesome.
on Facebook, and then
Frank's.
Yeah.
Frank shares,
Yep.
and
Sweet.
then we met Dave, and
Rest is history.
Dave, where'd
The
you
rest
come into
is
the mix?
history.
So Scott worked with a good friend of ours, Russ, and we ended up with this card game that we're going on our 6th or
Okay.
7th year now. So we just started hanging out, and it was Scott and Russ and Matt Hopkins, another friend of ours who's also into beer. The Frank Shares is where I met John and Steve, and from there it's just been a hazy fog of craft beers, and there's an intervention being scheduled by my recycling man as we speak.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. I used to work at a trash company, and for real, like you could kind of tell what was going on in that house by dumping the recycle. You know what I mean? It's really a thing. I'm
Also-
sorry, but it is.
Speaking of beer, should we get into the next one?
Yeah, let's crack this open. What do you got there?
So Dave brought this one. It's a Jackie O's Houndstooth.
Oh,
Jackie O's is the brewery. I've never heard of them.
I've heard of them,
Are
but I don't know
they
much about them.
Athens, Ohio.
Athens, Ohio.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
And as I was, I felt a lot of pressure prepping for tonight after listening to the podcast. And I feel this compulsion to impress Taylor. So I tried to find something that I think he would enjoy.
Well, it's named Jackie.
thank you, man. I appreciate that.
That's a total coincidence.
Okay.
No, it's not.
So this is a wine barrel aged sour raspberry ale conditioned on blackberries.
I'm
Oh,
all in
my.
on that. That sounds amazing to me.
Wow.
Dude, I like
Pretty
wine.
color.
I mean, I like red wine for starters, but I've
I did
had a
too.
handful of wine flavored or aged beers and loved them.
That smells tart.
Yeah,
That's going to be
that's right up my alley.
right up your alley. That's going to hit you right in the
I'm excited for it.
corners of the jaws. I'm guessing just from the smell. I didn't taste it yet.
I'm excited.
All right, so it's been freezing cold the last few days,
Yeah.
To put it mildly.
to put it mildly. No kidding. It's such a pain in the butt, dude. I have this like really nice gas fireplace insert at the place I moved into. It was already there, but it never starts on cold mornings. It's like, what the frick is the point? It's such a pain in the ass.
That's when you want it.
I know, right? That's when you want it, and it doesn't work. But I saw an article today. Somebody posted it. It's so cold around the country that they're actually having problems distributing beer. Do you guys see that?
That is quite the predicament.
Like
Problem.
beer, depending on the ABV, is going to freeze around like 30 to 30 degrees, something like that. But it's been so cold out there that it's freezing on the trucks before they get a chance to deliver it. They just got to stop it. Say, hey, you're not getting any distro this week.
Yeah, I don't imagine what happens to a beer in a keg that freezes, but it can't be good.
That can't be good. I'm not sure either. All right, let's
Dying to try this.
Let's
Yeah.
get into
Hey,
tasting
cheers,
this.
buddy.
thanks for bringing this,
this
man.
sour.
guys.
The really
Looking forward to
pretty purple hue coming off of this thing.
Yeah, I like this. This is like I don't know. For some reason, the first thing that popped into my head was lipstick.
It's really
Tart
good.
and
It's
dry.
tart, but it's like it like keeps going and going.
I got a lot of floaties.
It's definitely definitely not seeing through this beer.
No, it's not.
But like I said from the
Ooh.
smell, that bad boy is tart. But it's good. It's tasty.
You're definitely getting the wine out of this.
Yeah, man, I like that a lot. That is really, really good.
So now I'm probably the least sour lover of the group here. I can't imagine drinking an entire bottle of that.
This is why I brought it tonight.
Smart man.
But you love this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember your flavor profiles, and it seems like there'd be something up your alley. Would you drink an entire bottle of something like this?
This is that tart where I feel like I might have trouble with the whole bottle, but it's one of those things where if I'm in the mood for that style, I can probably do it. So like, I usually don't go out of my way, or it's not an everyday drinker for me getting sours like this. But when I'm in the mood, I could probably drink this bottle.
All right. Do we want to do some ratings on this bad boy?
Untapped rules, guys.
Untapped.
1
1
through
through 5.
5.25 intervals. Except I put a 3.6 on Untapped on that beer. I don't know how I did that.
I was going to ask you how you did that.
I don't know. That must have been some.
Have they updated their rules?
I guess maybe I got a app update that changed it.
I thought it used to be. Didn't it used to be like 3.5, 4? There was never even 0.25.
One of their, I guess at this point, aged updates, they went to the quarter rating scale.
But it used to be whole or half, and that was it.
Yep.
I'm gonna go 4 on this. It's solid. I really like it. I'm getting all kinds of flavors. Really, really into it. I'm just leaving room for something better. But 4 for me.
That's what I agree. I give it a solid 4.
Nice.
I agree. I give it a solid 4 as well. I think that as someone that's new to the whole craft beer scene, I've definitely liked sours that I've had, and this one tastes unlike the rest. Definitely, you get a lot of the wine, which is interesting, but also like that tartness. It like keeps going. Like, forget what other one we've had. I've had a couple of them, and I don't remember the names of them, but like. You drink it, you swallow it, and that tartness is gone, and this like lingers, and that's kind of cool.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
I know you've had the Dogfish Sea Quench Ale
Yes,
quite a bit.
Yeah.
I love that beer.
I'm a fan.
That's a go-to for me in the summer. All right, guys, what about you? What do you think? Scott?
I'm going 4.25 on this. I like the blend of fruits with the wine in the barrels. I agree with Taylor that it does pack a sour punch up front. I had a sip about 2 minutes ago, and my mouth is still watering, I find that enjoyable. I actually could see me drinking a whole bottle of this, if I wanted to.
Yeah, me too. Dave, what about you?
I'm with Scott at a 4.25.
Ooh,
This is good. You're getting the barrel. You're getting the wine. I feel like I'm getting the tannins out of it. Just to talk about sours for a second, if you guys want to expand your sour horizon at a decent price point and readily available, try the stuff from Un Ane.
I just bought a bottle at Kunda because you said that to me before.
I can't say enough good things about that beer, that brewery. They have hit for me every single time I've had it.
Yeah, I got one that was like a American wild ale on mangoes or something.
They do a bunch of different varieties of it and is great on a hot day. That's just a good hot day on the deck beer for me.
What about ciders? Do you guys into ciders at all?
My wife loves cider.
Yeah?
She likes sweeter cider.
Okay.
I prefer the drier cider, but I like it. I just like it in small doses.
Yeah, I haven't had many.
Our wife should hang out because that's exactly mine. She will literally say, "What's the sweetest sour or cider that you have?" And that's what she'll get.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the reason I brought it up, I saw an article that Current Cider, I think that's how you pronounce it, Current. Have you guys had anything from them?
Had a couple.
Yeah?
I think Earth, is their dry hopped cider.
Ooh,
Pretty good.
nice.
I have not. I haven't had anything from them.
Well, yeah, I don't know too much about them. I've heard that the guy that owns it, I think his name is Joe Getz. I've heard really good things about him. He's just a really good dude. But I haven't had any of their beers. I haven't been there or anything. But there's an article out that they're going to actually start making their own beer. Let's see. The first beer they're going to do is going to be called Oxford New England IPA. So it'll be a 6.1% juicy, easy drinking IPA is what they're going for. But you can, I don't know, Dave, if you can see the picture of it here, but that thing looks pretty good. Got a nice color to it.
That looks sweet. I think, Scott, we were at Kennett a couple of years ago for Brewfest. Their Current was there with their ciders, and I remember among the 70 or so beers I sampled that I enjoyed that.
Nice.
I wonder if making beer was their intent all along, or if it was just to kind of keep up with the change in the times, to get beer out there in addition to the cider. I'd like to know that.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'd like to know, is he like a brewer? Is that like really his background? But he thought, hey, I'm going to go be the first one to hop on this cider niche. You know what I mean?
So as we drift away from talking about beer, we've got something even a little further away from beer in front of us.
A little further away. So I saw an article about this online, and Scott took a smell and is making a funny face. So people have been talking about it, and we brought this up too, that what's going to be popular trends that might be coming up in the beer industry. Okay. And they've got, and what I'm hearing is like Heineken just came out with a 0 ABV beer. And is that going to be becoming more popular? So I saw this this online, and this is a company called Hop Tea. And what this is a 0 calorie, 0 ABV tea that is dry hopped. and it's sparkling tea. So I thought it was really interesting, and with me trying to like lose weight and back off a beer a little bit, or maybe not drink every day, I got this thinking, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. And just so you guys know, I've had I think I've had all 6 varieties from them, and this one was my favorite. So you guys have already taken a sip. You go ahead and tell me what you think.
I'm going to say this. If this is your favorite, you're not going to have any trouble finding it. Because this one's not for me. And I'll be the first to tell you, I'm not a tea drinker. So
this is disgusting.
This is not, yeah.
This is disgusting.
As you were looking at your computer, I was pointing towards the sink to sink this one.
Thank God it doesn't taste like it smells.
Oh man,
this one is not for me.
For me, the nose, it smells like, and even the taste at first, it smells like you're holding fresh hops.
I got hops the first time I smelled hops. It, but now the second time, I'm just, after I tasted it, I'm just smelling the tea.
That's a no for me, dog.
No,
they have like a sweet tea variety.
They have one that's a Radler version, so it's got like a little bit of lemonade, I guess, in there.
Okay,
or lemon in it. They have a white tea one that's not bad. They have a green tea that's okay. The green tea, and then there's a chamomile tea, and both of them I really don't like. And what's weird is the chamomile is Mosaic dry hopped, and I really like Mosaic beers. But just that fresh Mosaic with that chamomile, the way they mix, it's like you're drinking a like an air freshener or mixed with chemical or something. Like it didn't really work for me. But this one I really liked. I've been cutting back on my coffee because I've been drinking a ton of coffee and switched to green tea after my first cup of coffee throughout the day. And so I've been really digging tea, and that was a lot of the reason why I got this. But I really enjoy this one.
Scott, are you going to be in search of, as they say?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm all about trying to minimize the calorie intake while I'm drinking beer, but this is one of the cases where you just got to kick it to the street. It's just,
I hear
it's
you.
like too bitter tea and not enough flavor.
Do you taste any hops?
Ready to dump sugar in this thing.
I actually prefer unsweetened tea. I don't get. Yeah.
It's weird.
So for me, it's kind of like hitting a lot of things that I like. The first couple that I had, it wasn't this one. It was I think it was the green tea one, and then I had the chamomile behind it. I really didn't like the way the hops came through, and I was like, man, I'm really disappointed. But then when I got to this one, I was like, okay, this is actually really good. So for me, like looking for tea, but then getting that extra little hop flavor kind of worked for me.
So I think it's time to rinse out my glass because I actually might.
Is there any more of that?
I actually might burn my glass. I'm
Is
not
there
quite
anything in
sure.
Yeah, you're gonna get Jackie to try.
Yeah, I'm gonna let Jackie likes tea. Jackie, you want to try this? I don't like it. You might like it.
This is horrible. Taste this.
Yeah, you might like it. I don't know.
And just kind of while we're on the topic, before we take a break, I saw another article that
Don't
said,
smell
let's see what Jackie thinks of this.
I probably wouldn't
You wouldn't seek it out?
willingly. I don't think I'd willingly order this.
Okay. So right now, this hop tea has distribution in Whole Foods out on the West Coast, I think, and in like Colorado and stuff like that. I think they're out of Colorado.
I like the way she says willingly. If I'm ever at a bar and you see me order this, I'm being held hostage.
Yeah,
This is a clue. Call the authorities.
that is funny.
Red flag. Red flag.
So real quick before we go on break, let's knock out this one last article. It's kind of on the topic that we're talking about. Hard seltzer is coming for your beer is the name of the article. And so what they're saying is that seltzers have been really starting to get a good market share. They've grown their market where, what does it say? 169%.
Wow.
In the last year. So people, I think more and more are looking for health conscious alcohol choices. So, let me see here. The category they're giving it is flavored malt beverage. And, they have two different kinds I read. What is it? Lost my place here. Well, I guess what I was getting at is that it looks like small craft brewers are actually starting to get into that. Like Oscar Blues actually opened up a sparkling alcohol company
All right.
or an alcohol seltzer or things like that. So I think that's another trend that we're going to have to look out for. That is it that popular that people are going to start making that at our local breweries?
Something to look out for.
It seems like it's a growing industry, and if guys can hop in there and grab it, get ahead of the game, they might be able to grab that market and make some extra sales. Who knows?
Cool.
That's something that you guys would be interested in?
I'll try anything twice, except for this hop tea. But I'll give anything a try.
I've had them before. I was on a diet, not drinking beer, and I had them. They weren't bad. I was just reading this one brewery. I forget what it's called here, but they have a seltzer called Naughty Seltzer, and then now they're launching a higher ABV called Extra Naughty that comes in a 19.2 stovepipe can.
All right.
So like that's straight up like the beer industry. Like they're going after what's been working for beer nerds and things like that with probably the pounder cans and stovepipe cans and things like that, and trying to sell seltzer instead.
Need a Big Al seltzer for the all the old sports fans. See, I went back.
No, I don't get that one. That's over
Big
my head.
Al Metzer. What
Al
channel 10?
Meltzer. That
Channel
was Channel
10?
10. He just passed away not too long ago.
Oh, bummer.
We'll add it on a good note.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace,
Thanks.
right? All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here. I guess everybody's going to rinse their glasses. You pour them into mine. I'll drink it. And we'll talk to you in a minute.
Everybody make sure you go to mbnnetwork.com. There you can find your favorite podcast, click the link, find your favorite provider, listen to it anytime you want. Easy to find, easy to get into your favorite podcast, find your new favorite podcast. We got 7 of them now. mbnnetwork.com. Might be news, relatable radio, might be sports, Novak and Franz, might be brews, might be tunes. Let's talk about it. It's all over the place. mbnnetwork.com.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Might Be Brews. Keep checking us out on all the social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We love it when you guys interact with us. Tell us what you want to hear. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Keep suggesting Drink It or Sink It. We love interacting with you guys on there. And speaking of Facebook, congratulations to Rob. He's won the Trillium shirt. We're going to get that out to you as soon as we can. And congratulations.
Yeah, man, and hopefully we'll be able to do more giveaways. So everybody's been so awesome, following us and interacting with us on social media. So we want to try to find a way to give back and give you some incentive to spread the word. So keep an eye out on the social media pages at Might Be Brews, and we'll be giving some more stuff away.
And thanks to all the listeners out there. We appreciate every single one of you. Record-setting month on the MBN network. Yeah, we want to keep that going. Tell your friends about us. Share as much as you can, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, we
Overwhelming joy.
oh, for real. We almost doubled our plays, I think, on our last episode. So like everybody that's checking it out, man, we really, really appreciate you. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our favorite local breweries, Root Down. We were lucky enough to get an invite to their employee party, holiday party. So Scott, that invite was actually from you. So appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Glad you made it out.
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, Steve, you couldn't make it, but it's just a first class. It was a first class event. It was really nice. Just the way everything was set up, the food, the people. So just want to give them a shout out and thank you very much for letting us hang out.
I think we need a root down field trip, podcast field trip.
Yes,
It's got to happen.
I think so too. Speaking of Phoenixville, have you guys ever seen that little Steel City coffee house that sits on the corner there on Bridge Street there.
Yep.
Did you know that they're opening a brewery now?
So hold that.
Did you?
Yeah.
So it's always been like a coffee house, live music. I think I actually haven't ever been there. Have any of you guys been there before? No,
Never
I've
been.
only gotten kombucha from there.
have you?
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's really interesting, and from what I read on the article, that they want to keep they want to keep the same vibe. They want to still be a coffee house, still have local musicians and artists come there and hang out. But now they're gonna drink, or brew and serve beer also.
Phoenix is going to have more breweries than people in about 4 months.
You were not kidding. I just wanted to see who it was that they brought over. The owners are the Simpsons, and the brewer that they brought in.
Be Bart, please.
Yeah.
Be Bart.
Award-winning brewer and local resident Seth Clearwater. So I don't know where he's from, but they said, we're not going to be a beer bar. This is still a cafe, a coffee house, and a listening room. But it's going to be a cafe, coffee house, and listening room with some of the best beer you'll find anywhere in the Philadelphia area.
It's definitely, I think, a little bit of I kick myself for saying it, an untapped market for some of the breweries. They don't really have a lot of music, a lot of events going on that I feel like they could. I know Brothers Kirshner, they're doing a comedy night tonight, which I think is great. That'd be a really cool thing to be able to go to a brewery and do a little comedy show. I wish I could have made it up there, but we're here, so I couldn't.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it reminds me of what do you call it? Stolen Sun. They're a coffee place in the morning. They've got food. It seems like they've got music a lot. They've always got the piano going or something. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But so what did you crack here?
So we got Brother Thelonious, which is a Belgian style Abbey Ale. Abbey Ales definitely run the gamut of alcohol percentage. This one's a 9.4. It's a higher one.
Nice.
This was one of the early beers that I got into. Malty, definitely accessible to the masses, I think, but a great taster.
Nice. Well, let's give it a shot. I don't have a lot of experience with Belgians, and a lot of times I'm not a fan, so I'm really curious to see what ends up happening.
I am too. To me, it doesn't have quite the Belgian yeast bite that might be what you don't like.
You're right, it doesn't.
It's like candy was dropped into the boil at some point. It's sweet.
There's definitely a sweetness to it. There's a caramel, a good description, maybe.
Butterscotch?
Absolutely.
Butterscotch.
Yeah, that's what I thought of. I got that caramel right off the nose, actually. But that's good. It's good. It's a pretty well balanced. It's a full ride. I always say that full ride. I just imagine that like sometimes beers start off slow for me, or they drop off. They're bitter up front and then don't finish well. But this was this is a well-rounded beer. I really like this.
This is definitely one I can drink in the wintertime. We've talked about it before, sitting watching the ball game, well, football, just warming up by the fire and enjoying sipping on one of those. This is also a good beer. Like if you just want to have one beer one night and you want to feel like that beer did something for you, this is a good one beer night.
That's a good
kind
call.
of beer.
That's a really good way of saying that. I'm like sitting here like it's really thick.
Yeah.
It's heavy to me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like really flavorful, and it's not bitter really at all. Like it doesn't bite me. You know what I mean? It's good. I like it. It's winter beer for sure, like you said.
There's almost like is there a Scotch flavor to it? It almost reminds me of that. Almost sipping on like, it doesn't have that alcohol burn, but just to be able to just sit and kind of sip on something and not really chug it down.
Yeah, I could see that. I got a little bit of that in there.
This is definitely not a chuggable item for me.
I know.
For sure.
Just throwing them back in the summer. Like, yeah.
What are you doing tonight? I'm drinking whatever this is.
You get about 2 or 3, and then that's lights out. Well, for me, this is a 4.25. Depending on my night, you might catch me bumping that up to a 4.5 if I'm in the mood for the Belgians.
It's not necessarily my style, but I'm impressed. So I have a hard time rating it. Like I don't want to be too hard on it because it's not my thing. So like if I put it in comparison to everything else, I'm probably going to give it a 3.5.
Scott, Dave, what do you got? Give me a little ranking.
Scott mid sip. I'm gonna say 4. I'll give it a solid 4. It's a good, great beer.
Nice.
It's good, great beer. Taylor, what do you got? What are you giving us there?
I'd say 3.75.
All right.
Solid 3.75.
I'm going to agree with Taylor on this one. I say 3.75 too. Little too sweet for me.
Yeah.
To give it anything higher, but it's got a lot of flavor. Just find it, winter beer is the best way to really describe it.
Yeah.
I
I
think
like
if
that.
I was in the mood for a Belgian or decided I was going to get one, I might look for this one. Is this something readily available?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is something you can find.
So I know that I don't like that real funky Belgian yeast thing that happens, and there isn't anything in here. So if I'm in the mood, I might try to go grab one.
I also have the Abbey Double from Omegang is a good beer along the same style of this, and they did a double barrel version of it where they had it in bourbon and brandy barrels,
Nice.
which I have sitting at the house that I haven't had yet. But I will be trying to crack that one open soon.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring it here. Maybe I'll bring one over.
Have you ever tried the Flying Fish Abbey
Flying
Double?
Fish Abbey
That's
Double
another
is good.
one.
That is
Good.
it's a good style. You can really see what a brewery has when they brew that kind of style. It's not many people do it, so they if they do it, they gotta bring it.
Yeah. Well, hey, let's crack the next beer and get that started while we go through some of the headlines that caught our attention this week. So the question I wrote here is, how do you feel about trading your ABV for THC? There's now the guy who started Blue Moon Beer has started a new company that is THC infused non-alcohol craft beer. So the idea is like, hey, you're just going to put some CBD in there and still have the alcohol, whatever. And he was like, no, that's not what people are looking for. We want to do, CBD is not the component that most consumers are looking for. It certainly has its merits, but THC is what gives people that buzz, which is similar to the alcohol buzz that people get from beer, spirits, and wine. A lot of consumers of cannabis look for that buzz. So that's what he's trying to do. He's starting up a place in Colorado and trying to put out one of the world's first THC craft beer that's non-alcoholic.
I guess that's the place to start it, right?
Yeah, I guess
Colorado. So I'm not a marijuana guy. I don't know all the stuff. So if it's THC, that's the active ingredient stuff, right?
Yes.
So basically, this is, if I'm drinking this beer, it's like I'm having an edible. Like,
Pretty much.
I would think so. So I've never been a THC guy, a marijuana guy myself, but THC does have the psychoactive properties that things like CBD do not. Like I actually just purchased some CBD drops that I'm going to try for like as an alternative to like anti-inflammatory drugs, like and just for like the calming and like anti like instead of like you're getting like it's just something to relax you, so I'm not all like amped up from work and kids and all that stuff, something to try to relax.
So that's the stuff they'll put in like lotions and stuff, and like you can rub on a sore shoulder or something like that.
Exactly. The place that I got it from, they sell like lotions, they sell gummies, things like that. But I just got these drops where you they call them sublingual, I guess. You put them under your tongue because that's the way that like it mixes with the mucus or whatever you want to call it under your tongue. Helps your body absorb it better. So that or vaping or something like that, you know what I mean, where you take it in through the lungs, that's the probably like one of the best ways to absorb it. But with THC, I hear that smoking, it's one kind of way to take it in and get a high from it, but ingesting it like this beer probably might be a whole different experience like edibles are.
Cool.
Because your body's like, I guess like processing it differently, maybe. I don't know.
You guys, it's funny. You both like said the same thing. I'm not a marijuana guy. I am a marijuana guy, and I know that being drunk and being high are two completely different things.
Mm-hmm.
Two completely different things. So I'd be really curious. I've never drank something that got me quote unquote high. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that'd be really interesting, I suppose. You said it's non-alcoholic, correct?
Correct. No alcohol.
So yeah,
Zero
that would be
ABV.
like, I wonder if it would be a completely different experience. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like we drink a bunch of beer here every time that we record.
Yeah.
And that feels totally different to me as like when I smoke before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got
So like
you.
it's a different thing.
It's interesting. I'd be curious to
I'd
see.
be really curious to see what that's all about.
Yeah. All right, let's crack the next beer. We cracked it. We have it around here. So, Scott, you brought this one. This one's from Great Notion Brewing. It's called Guava Mochi.
Mochi, like mochi balls.
Okay. What's a mochi ball?
I don't know how to describe it other than I think it's a dessert item. It's often frozen.
Okay. I've never even heard of that.
It's actually really good.
Okay.
I'm probably doing it a disservice.
Well, that kind of changes my expectations. It says it's an IPA, but if it's a guava dessert type thing, then it could be it could be a whole different experience. Let me see if I see. It's a Japanese inspired IPA fermented with toasted rice, milk sugar, vanilla beans, and guava. Very interesting.
Very flavorful.
Yeah, let's give it a shot here. I'm going to take a sip.
I love the Great Notion logo. Of course, I spun the can the wrong way. With a passion for hops and the patience for sours.
Nice.
I think this is the first IPA I've had from them. I've had some of the sours, but I don't think I've had an IPA from them.
It might be our first. I remember. I think maybe Brett used to bring Great Notion to the beer shares a lot. He had a trading buddy or something like that up that way. Or was it you, Scott?
I had a couple. Yeah, I brought a couple.
Did you bring a couple too?
Yeah.
But how did you get these? Was it through a trade?
These actually are from my brother. He came to visit us over the holidays. Brought a bunch of Great Notion back.
Does he live up there?
Yeah.
Where are they out of? Great Notion.
Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they're out of Portland. My buddy Irv just moved up there, and I tell him that's the spot he's got to hit up yet, and send a little love back to the East Coast.
Yeah. So far, I've really liked everything I've had from them. Did you even bring like a crowler before?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we had a crowler, a growler.
Blueberry muffin, I think, is their popular one.
I remember that just knocked my socks off.
I'll never forget the smell of that beer from across the room.
Yeah. We had that, didn't we? Did we have that on the show?
We had a can.
Yeah.
Technically a sour, but it doesn't taste like a
Did you-
sour.
You didn't get any yet?
No, I got some. I'm giving you a thumbs up that it's
Ah.
delicious.
You like it?
I do.
All right.
It's
let me
definitely
sit back
different.
for a second.
It's got definitely has a sweetness to it, but it's not like an alcohol sweetness to it.
Well, there's lactose in it. So that's
probably
probably
where I'm
what it
getting
is.
that.
It's probably along the lines of what we know as milkshakes, really. So it's a little sweet.
It has a milkshake flavor to it, but not a milkshake look.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
definitely clear,
Right.
and it doesn't
Yep.
quite have that mouthfeel, but it's good.
Yeah, I like it.
It's not doing it for me.
Not doing it.
I don't like it.
That's okay.
I'm
okay.
getting like some artificial flavor stuff. Maybe I'm getting like, I don't know, man. It's a weird flavor. I don't know. I don't like it.
It's definitely there's a flavor that I can't quite put my finger on that's weird about it.
I give it a 4.5.
Nice.
I'm
That's where I'm
actually watching Taylor and John change spots right in front of us.
Yeah, right.
They're morphing.
It's just how funny would it be if all of a sudden all these beers I'm drinking, like everyone, I'm like, I don't fucking like it. Then all of a
It's
sudden
like
I'm just like, I don't think I like beer. What's happened? I don't
And then
know.
Taylor
Hop
starts.
tea.
Taylor starts with it. Wow, it's got a little horse blanket to it. It really gets into all the good descriptors, and it's got a little cat urine to it that I really enjoy.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I get-
I just work myself out of a job. Like
Taylor,
take over.
same mouth feel.
Then you're drinking or sink it every week.
yeah, try to get me back
Trying
into
to
it.
get you
'cause
back
I'm-
into it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I give it a 4. I like it. It does have a sweetness to it. I wish I could put my finger on the flavor of it, but I'll give it a 4.
I'm giving it a 2.5.
Oh,
I almost spit my water out.
It's not. I don't know what it is, man. And it's weird because I really like this brewery and everything that I've had, but whatever it is about this beer, something's not balancing right to me, and the flavors just kind of don't work for me, and I just don't like it.
I'm
That's
sorry.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
You're allowed to.
It's your palate. It's a messed up palate.
I mean, you're wrong, but yeah, it's cool.
It's okay, it's your opinion, but you're wrong.
Your palate is broken.
I'm taking another sip just because I'm trying to figure out what it is.
You got too much tea.
Don't change your score. You gave it 2.5.
It's too late.
You can't come back.
2.5 too late.
No, I just want to pick out that flavor. I don't know what it is either.
Is it guava?
It might be. It's definitely, I think there's
Lychee?
some kind of fruit where it's like, it's not strawberry because there's definitely no strawberry in it, but it's not citrus either. It's like some kind of fruit.
Tropical fruit.
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Maybe the milk sugar too. I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't work for me. Sorry.
I'm going 4.5 on it.
Wow.
It's not.
High five from across the
Yeah,
table.
we are one tonight. I think. It's got a nice sweetness to it, not being too sweet, but it doesn't have the overarching bitterness that a lot of the other milkshake type beers have that I've had recently. This does it for me.
I wouldn't mind a little bit more just straight hop. Just a little bit to kind of go with that sweetness.
More hop, less everything else. Be a perfect beer.
We'll put a little more tea in it for you. Maybe you'll like it then.
I'm the fucking weirdo, I guess. I'm like, oh, this hop tea's fantastic. This beer sucks. There's something wrong with me. What do you think, Dave?
I'm gonna give it 4.25. I like it. I love the shake feel. But to take a step back, it's good to try everything, right? Just try it all. Like what you like, but try everything because you never know what's going to grab you. And you look at something, if I put that Jackie O's in a glass and sat it in front of you, I think people would look at it and go, ugh, because it really is a little funny looking, but you got to try it. You got to try everything.
How can you know what you like if you don't know what you don't like?
Right. That's the conversation you have at home around the dinner table with the kids. You got to try it, right? Try it and tell me you don't like it.
Exactly.
That's pretty good. I like that. I mean, it's really good. That one was really good.
Well, we have another one sitting here, and I need a redemption before
You need a
before
palate cleanser.
before we end this tonight. So we're gonna crack open this Great Notion double stack, which is another one from Great Notion, obviously. But this is Imperial Breakfast Stout fermented with an irresponsible amount of maple syrup, aged on whole bean Sumatra from our friends at Clutch Coffee Roasters.
That
Sounds
needs to get
banger.
on our belly.
Wow. An irresponsible amount?
Yeah, and
It's not
the
responsible.
can's
at
awesome.
all.
It's got like
It
a
is
Yeti, like Bigfoot dude
I thought-
holding a cup of coffee and a stack of pancakes.
Can I see that one too? Yeah.
I'm glad that's not the THC beer with an irresponsible amount
Yeah.
of THC.
I've never had this one. I couldn't remember if I had this one or not, and I know I gravitate towards the maple and vanilla type.
Yeah.
Stuff.
No, I think I've had this before, and this is one of the ones that made me, really like Great Notion. All right, a couple other topics to try to bang these out. I saw an article that laser printed foam art is starting to get some attraction, and I'm curious what you guys think. Obviously, people have seen things with, you get a nice cup of coffee and they can put some latte art in there. They make the leaves and stuff. But now, at least this article from Food and Wine magazine is saying, step aside latte art, beer foam art is in. Laser printed beer foam art. What do you think about that?
If I see one of you guys with that, I'm putting my finger in your beer.
But what if it's like, what if we can find a way to like get our logo put on, like our podcast logo on somebody's beer?
Then I will take a picture of it and then put my finger in it.
Are you
Wait,
going
is
to
it-
do the old trick with the side of the nose, little sweat to
Yeah.
reduce the foam too?
Like, fuck this.
You'll hope it's just the side.
Yeah.
So this is the actual foam inside of your glass on top of your beer?
Yeah. Let me see if I can turn this around quickly to show you the picture.
What?
But
That's a real thing?
yeah, supposedly I haven't seen it yet. But for one, I don't know. It's kind of like, holding your cell phone to your head and getting brain cancer. Like, I don't know how I feel about shooting lasers into my beer. You know what I mean?
A laser?
Yeah, it's laser. It's laser art.
All I wanted with beer was freaking laser.
Freaking laser. Yeah, I guess nobody out there could see me doing the quotations.
Yeah,
a
lasers.
freaking laser.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just no research on how lasers affect beer, so I get a little uncomfortable about it.
Your beer just like boils over and just like explodes in your face.
Who knows, man? Somebody's going to turn into like Spider-Man or something, and it's going to come back to like somebody shot a laser into their beer and it reacted with whatever's in there, and now they have got a crazy mutation.
I was trying to picture it as I'm drinking, like as I'm looking into the glass, and I don't know what I would want to see looking back at me as I was about to drink it. Like it just seems not natural and doesn't seem right.
I think beer in itself, kind of like you were saying, Scott, earlier, like it's just those like 4 ingredients or whatever. Obviously that last one had a lot more that ruined it, but no, but you know what I mean? Like I think it's an art in itself, and I don't think you have to put anything crazy in there. You know what I mean?
Well, let's talk about this double stack that we just opened up.
Double stacks.
This might be the best smelling beer that I've ever smelled in my life.
It smells like a stack of pancakes.
Yeah.
With some coffee.
Yeah.
A little bit of coffee too.
It's really wonderful how they get that maple scent to it.
Almost overpowering maple. I mean, it's
a lot of maple
from across the room.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
It is. That there's a little bit of maple throughout the entire thing there.
Is it an irresponsible amount
I
of
think
maple?
I see that. I disagree. I think it's completely responsible. It is a completely responsible amount.
I think it's amazing. I think it's good flavor, and I think there's enough like roastiness and heavy stout to balance out that much maple.
And the coffee just kind of comes around the back
Yeah.
end a little bit.
I think it needs that extra coffee, that dark roast Sumatra to balance out how much sweetness is there, and it makes a really well-rounded beer.
What do you think about the sweetness? Is it too sweet? Just sweet enough?
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought it was like really sweet, but then I get so much of that caramelization, that roasted, the coffee that it balances it out, and it's just making like a really nice experience.
I go 4 or 5. I like the sweetness. I think I'd like a lot of sweetness in my stout, but that coffee is just enough to not overpower the sweetness for me. Brings it home.
What's the ABV on this thing?
Go 4.
11%.
I go 4.
You're going to 4?
It's really good. It's like, again, like none of these beers that we've had tonight have really like overdone it. Like where it just like it packs too much of a punch for me.
Yeah.
This was really good. It was it flavorful, but what really did it was the nose, I guess. Just the smell of it, the aroma, and then the taste after. It was just the whole package. It was really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Glad you like it. I'm going to go 4 or 5. I just love this thing. This is a fantastic beer. Like I said, I'm getting a whole gamut of flavors and things that play off each other and balance well. And for my stouts, my dark beers, I want them to be heavy and a thick mouthfeel, and I'm getting that. So this is kind of pushing all my buttons in the right way. And so I'm giving it a 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Absolutely.
All right. By you, Scott?
I got to give it a 4. And I would have rated it higher.
Just a flat 4?
Yeah, because if I just rated the sip, it probably would be a 4 or 5.
Okay.
But I had another can. I drank it all the way through. The maple is overpowering after like half the can, and it becomes a little too sweet for me. But I can see why people would rate it a 4 or 5. I can't complain. But
yeah,
little too sweet for me in the long haul.
Okay. Yeah, I'm really digging this. I poured a little bit extra because I'm just really enjoying the experience here.
And because I drove.
Yeah, that too. That has a lot to do with it, actually. All right, guys, you have waited throughout the entire episode, so we are going to drop the big news on you. We're going to do a special edition episode next week. We're usually a bi-weekly show, but if you haven't seen online, there has been a lot of really exciting things happening with Levante Brewing right here in our backyard in Westchester, Pennsylvania. So believe it or not, they actually reached out to us and said, hey, we've got all this exciting stuff going on, and we really like your show, and we'd love to be on. So next week, you can expect it a week from today, Friday, February 8th, we'll be doing a special edition of Might Be Brews with Levante Brewing Company.
Awesome. I think it's a it's a great opportunity for us to ask them about their new programs, everything new they've got going on, and for them to be able to answer some of the questions that people have about their new delivery service.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many neat things going on. So we're going to put a post out there, but if you're listening and if you have any questions, if you've seen the buzz and the things going on about Levante this week, shoot us a message, post on our social media, and tell us some things that that you'd like to hear or that you would like us to ask Levante, so that we figure out, or we ask them whatever you want, and we'll learn as much as we can from them while they're here.
And they said they were bringing a lot of beer.
That's what he said. So I'm really excited to see what we have. We might have a Levante only, set of beers to review.
We should, as we're talking, we should have them specify drink it or sink it.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. So I think it's going to be a really awesome episode. So please stay tuned, look out for it, and we're super, super excited for it. And hopefully there's a lot more stuff. Maybe it becomes a semi-frequent thing we do with them, and we're hoping to attract the attention of more local breweries and get a lot of sweet guests on.
That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's thank our guests that we had here this evening.
Yeah, Scott, Dave.
Scott and Dave, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was a great time.
Absolutely.
Really
Thank you so much.
Good fun. Thanks for having us on.
Thanks for bringing all the beer, guys, too. That was great.
Absolutely.
All of it was really good.
I have nothing but a lot of beer.
We were talking about this earlier. We have so many freaking beers around between, the 4 or 5 of us, you know what I mean? That we're going to have to just find ways to get rid of them quicker. Get together and do something.
Got to have some more shares.
Yeah, man. We
Gotta
got to figure that out.
Need a listener share. That's what we need.
I know. We should do that. We should figure that out. Man, we keep coming up with good ideas. All right. Well, hey, guys, listen. Thank you so much for listening. I cannot tell you how much we appreciate you spending a few minutes to let us talk at you. Follow us on social media if you don't already, at Might Be Brews. Check out the new website. Hopefully it's your nice, easy way. Subscribe, comment, tag a friend, share it, all that good stuff. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you next week.